Today we're talking about how you can double your output without working a second longer. And it has nothing to do with motivation, with willpower, not even with how long you can focus. It comes down to one thing: how fast you recover after you get distracted. Because distraction isn't a mistake, it's part of the system, and once you see this, you stop fighting it and you start using it to your advantage. So in this video, I'll show you how the focus loop actually works, and then I'll walk you through the 3 focus recovery techniques that will double your productivity. Let's dive in. Most people think focus works like a light switch. You're either on or you're off. But your brain doesn't work like that. A 2023 study in the Journal of Cognitive Research found that focus is actually a loop with 4 stages. You focus, you drift, you notice, and then you come back. Most people spend all their energy here on the first stage, and they try really hard to stay focused for as long as they can. But researchers made a shocking discovery. The stage that actually predicts performance the most is the last one: coming back. In other words, the key to unlock your productivity is not how long you keep your focus, it's how fast you return when you lose it. That's the real skill. That's how you'll experience deep work and access the flow state. Not with uninterrupted focus, but with really fast recovery. So let me show you the 3 techniques that will double your output by turning 20-minute distractions into automatic resets. The first technique is the Cliffhanger method. If you want to come back to your work faster, always leave on a cliffhanger. You see, your brain doesn't like open loops. It holds onto unfinished things, like an itch it needs to scratch. So when you feel the urge to take a break, don't give your brain closure. Leave something unfinished. A sentence, a calculation, a line of code, an idea, something that your brain will want to close. Do that and you won't have to push yourself to come back. The work will pull you back in. This technique is based on the Zeigarnik effect, a psychological phenomenon where incomplete tasks create mental tension that pulls your attention back. Even better, when you return, you won't be starting from zero again. You'll be building on momentum, ready to give it your all from the get-go. But this only works if you actually catch the moment you drift, and most of the time you don't. Let's fix that. The second technique is the sensory reset. If the first technique was about making the task more attractive, the second one is about making the distraction less sticky. You see, when you notice you have drifted, you are already in a different mental state. Your brain has checked out, and at that point, thinking your way back to a focused state doesn't work really well. You need something immediate, physical, a shock to the system. That's why I keep this on my desk. It's heavy, it's cold, it's rough, it's impossible to ignore. And the moment I hold it, I'm back. It cuts through the fog instantly. This is called a sensory reset, and it's a technique used in therapy to interrupt mental loops by bringing you back into the present moment. Think of it like a reset button for your attention. No thinking, no beating around the bush, you just hold an object and you snap back. So keep something physical on your desk, something noticeable and cold, heavy, or textured, and the moment you catch yourself drifting, use it. But even when you're back, there's one thing that can pull you away again, and that's your reaction to the distraction itself. But don't worry, this last technique will deal with that. The final technique is mental noting. Snapping back to reality after a distraction is not enough, because here's what most people do next. They get frustrated. And that is another distraction. So now you're distracted twice, once by the thought and again by your reaction to it. The technique to deal with this is simple but effective. It's called mental noting. Here's what you do. When you come back from a distraction, you don't fight it, you name it. One word. If you were thinking about an upcoming trip, it's planning. If you were worrying about a meeting, it's worrying. Or if you were just checking some group chat, it's social. That's it. No analysis, no judgment, no trying to solve the thought. You slap a label on it and you're free to go. Why? Because the moment you name the thought, you move it from your brain's emotional center into your logical prefrontal cortex. And just like that, you create distance from it. The loop is closed, the frustration is gone, and in less than a second, you're ready to focus back on your work. So here's the idea I want to leave you with. Focus isn't about staying locked in, it's about how quickly you come back. Again and again and again. So the way forward is clear. Your performance depends less on how often you drift and more on how fast you recover. So instead of trying to be perfectly focused, train the loop. Leave work slightly unfinished so it pulls you back. Use sensory resets to snap out of distraction and label thoughts so they don't pull you off track twice. And the next time your mind wanders, don't see it as a failure. See it as a rep. Do that for a week and I guarantee you won't look back. So if you found this video useful, hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.